Asma Awad from the Language Institute at the University of Sharjah, and our presentation today will be about how to write a proper resume and cover letter. And inshallah, people who are joining us today, I'd like that they join us as well on Wednesday to follow up with the interview skills, because it's the second part of the presentation. Okay, welcome to everybody here, and thank you for being part of my presentation today. Let me start now with how to write your resume and display some of the samples of the resumes that are common now on whether social media or YouTube in general. Okay, what are the learning outcomes or the objectives of our session today? Why we are here, all of us today? Number one, after today's workshop, we are all going to learn to be able to recognize the difference between resume and CV. And this is a very big mistake that many people commit when they write, or apply for a job. You need first of all to know, are you applying using a CV or resume? We are going to learn the difference between them and learn which one we need to use when we apply for a job. Number two, recognize the difference between a functional and a chronological resume. How to organize, how to put your information in order in your resume, and which one is needed most in the job market. Three, identify the proper format and content of a resume and cover letter. How to write them, how to divide information in both of them, and how to highlight important pieces of information. Write a basic resume and cover letter. By the end of this session, following the steps one by one, I would like you to make use of the paper you have, the A4 paper in your hand, and the pencil, and start writing your own resume. At least the basics of your resume, the main information and the order of this information. Now, before we start, I would like you to watch this advertisement with me. We are going to see now to watch an advertisement, and we are going to watch two people applying for this ad, and you will let me know which one do you think is the right one to apply to. First of all, watch this advertisement. You have a piece of paper, pen. I want you to give answers to the following. What is the job title? What's the job title in this advertisement? And I want you to tell me, what is the salary? And how long is the contract? What are the responsibilities? Fine, please watch the video and tell me and answer these questions. Are you ready? Okay. Can you raise the voice, please? Higher. No, it should be higher. I need. Okay. Higher. The next one. Okay, back. Okay, where am I? Okay, where is my? This is my presentation. Okay, what is the job title? The job title is Island Keeper. He's going to work as an island keeper. Okay, what is the salary?
150,000.
What?
150,000.
$150,000 per 6 months. Only the job is only for 6 months. It's an intern job. How long is it the contract? We already answered. 6 months only. What are the responsibility? Huh? Clean the pool. What else?
Feed the fish.
Feed fish. Okay.
Explore the island.
Excellent. Okay. Okay. Do you like the job? Do you want to work something like that? Do you want to have a job like this? Okay. And the salary? How's the salary? $150,000 for the 6 months only. Now, we are going to watch two candidates, two people applying for this job. And I want you all to tell me which one left, the strongest impact in you. If you are an employer, which one you are going to recruit? Fine. Remember now, 6 months, the salary, $150,000. And the job is to collect the letters, as they mentioned, and clean the pool, feed the fish, and take care of the island. Now let's see how those people respond to this ad. This is a real ad, by the way, and those people are real. It's not fake. You can Google them. You will find them. Are you ready? Now, see, video CV. Video CV is one type of the CVs that people use to apply to jobs these days, specifically people who are working in IT, computer science, people who are computer engineers, who work in architecture, people who have this talent, who are talented in creating something new. They focus on applying by using video CV, not a written one, not the classic one we're using. Let's have a look at this one. The first candidate's name is Ben.
Hi, I'm Ben, or otherwise known as the adventurous, crazy, energetic one. And there's only 55 seconds left to tell you why. Ah! I love discovering new places. Last year, I drove all around Africa. I crossed deserts, climbed mountains, run marathons, bungee jump, mountain bike, scuba dive, and snorkel everywhere because I'm practically a fish myself! As for trying new things, how about riding an ostrich? What can I say? Animals love me, and I love them too, especially if they're rare. Ooh, okay, maybe not that rare. I'm a great communicator, love meeting people, and immersing myself in other cultures. I've written newspaper and magazine articles, given TV and radio interviews, and kept a journal and video blog on my website to share my experiences with others, and I'd love to do the same for you. We can learn about the 100 miles of magic Great Barrier Reef together and all that Queensland has to offer. I'm an experienced events manager, charity fundraiser and tour guide. I have a Bachelor of Science degree and a keen interest in photography. So I'm your man. If it's the best
I'm your man.
then I'm on the best place in the world.
I am the best for this job. Okay. Back to the second candidate. This is the first one. He documented everything in his life. By the way, if you notice this video, what he did is that he documents what he does, during his career. He's not making these videos specifically for this job, but he is the type of people who is documenting his travel experience, his daily activities, and he used them later. We'll talk about this part later. The second candidate's name is Thomas. Now we have Ben and Thomas. Let's see Thomas and tell me, after watching Thomas's CV, video CV, which one is the best candidate for the job?
Hi, I am the right guy for this job because I can catch a shark with my fin. Can you see that huge fin over there?
Hi, I'm Thomas. I'm a professional diving instructor in Sharm el-Sheikh. I live in Egypt since 1.5 years because I love to share my passion for the underwater wonders with people from all over the world.
I'm a passionate underwater photo and videographer. I would love to become the island caretaker as I love the sun, I love the sea, and above all, I love to discover new things every day and share them with others. I'm also very easy to come along with.
What's great about my job is that I meet people from all over the world, and I love making every day a beautiful experience. Thanks for watching. See you soon.
Thank you. Thomas or Ben? Ben. Why Ben? Yes. More experiences. Good.
More professional.
More professional. Exactly. What else?
You mentioned his skills. What else skills he possessed?
What about enthusiasm? Did you feel he was enthusiastic, متحمس? you had this feeling that he was more enthusiastic to the job. Have you seen both of them actually responded to the qualifications and to the skills needed for the job? Both responded in the same way. But the difference is that I feel it, I myself, that for Ben is the type of people who always document what he does, regardless the job itself, which is a good piece of advice when you do something during your life, actually, not only for the job, documented, whether with a photo, with a video. Later on, who knows, you might go back to these videos and photos and you need them when you apply for a job. It is not only a matter of, writing in your CV that I can do this or that. No, I need a documentation, real documentation, not only certificates. Anybody can forge a certificate and say that I had training in this place, training in that place. But when you have those trainings or those experiences somewhere and you put them in any blog and then give a link to the employer to go and see your achievement, this is a more effective way to get a job that other people cannot get. Right. Let me go back to, we mentioned that it is Ben. See, it's real. Please go online to check this advertisement and see how they celebrated Ben. Look at the press when he got the job. They had a huge celebration when they had the job and he got it. As you mentioned, he is the one who left impact on you as well as on the employer himself. Type. Let me go back now to my lesson, how to write your CV. We had one example of a video CV, and you saw how a video CV can be made. And then in our culture, in the Middle East in general, this is more applicable to boys, that if you can have a video CV in the same way, this is more applicable. Let's now go to a visual CV. And have you ever had an experience with a visual CV? Did you write your CV using visuals before? Okay, it's very easy because there are free websites that can do that for you. All what you need to do is just go to the website, the link I'm going to give you right now, and then enter your basic information and whatever you want to mention. Automatically, the website is going to create your visual CV. And after that, you can amend it later if you have more experience to add, if you want to delete, edit. It is going to help. We can go to this one to see some samples of the visual CVs. And by the way, fresh grads use this method here a lot in the Middle East. Here are some samples. I think that's enough, right? Okay, I will give you the website for this one, and it will be very easy to create it later. It's very easy. Just enter your basic information, what you want to mention, and based on your experience, your major, your actually likes and dislikes, you can choose the format. It gives you like hundreds of formats, and you choose the one that is applicable to you and to your work. Now, let's go to my presentation today, how to write a resume. Now we start. What is a resume? When I say resume and CV, any idea what are the differences between resume and CV before we start?
Resume is longer, CV is shorter, it's a summary.
The opposite. CV is longer, resume is very short. Resume shouldn't be more than 2 pages. When you write a resume, the maximum, it should be no more than 2 pages. And this is the one we use it to apply for jobs. We use the resume to apply for jobs, not the CV. CV, we use it when we apply for academic positions. If you are going to apply for a scholarship, if you're going to apply for, actually you want to apply to do your PhD, your master's, you want to apply for academic position as a professor or associate or assistant, you use the CV in this case. Now, let's have a look at the resume. When I say resume, it means a summary of qualifications. I summarize my qualifications in 2 pages. We use it as a marketing tool that advertises your credentials. This is the thing that I use to tell people who I am. Whether a video, whether visual, whether even paper, the classic one, this is the only thing that I can use to tell people who I am and what I can do for them. A gateway for a candidate to be shortlisted for an interview. This is the first thing that is used by the employer to decide, shall I give him a chance to work for me or not? Or not to work for me, to be shortlisted to come and meet me or not. Remember that when you apply for a job, you're not the only one. Thousands of people are applying with you. And each resume shouldn't take more than 5 seconds for an employer to decide if you are the right person to be shortlisted or not. 5 seconds maximum. Okay. We use it also as a screening tool promoting you for an interview. When I say a screening tool, as I mentioned, that the thing that does not take more than seconds to decide if you are the right person or not to be shortlisted. It's a tool to apply for a job, internship, summer position, graduate or professional school, or leadership positions in particular in organizations, but not for academic ones, because when it comes to academic, I go automatically to the CV. Now, CV or curriculum vitae, it's a Latin word. CV or curriculum vitae, we mentioned that the resume is this is our session today. Our session today is how to write a resume, not to write a CV, because CV is not our concern now, though I'm going to show the difference between them, okay? Now, it's a comprehensive biographical statement, something very long. At least 3 pages is the minimum. When you write a CV, this is 3 pages is the minimum. And for example, my CV is 20 pages plus, because I have lots of experience that I added, lots of workshops I gave, lots of research papers I actually published, lots of conferences I attended, and I gave papers and presentations there. So I must include that since I'm working in an academic place. These pieces of information are not important for some companies, so I must not include them. Let's go. Emphasizes qualifications and activities. In the resume, I do not write all activities. I write only what is relevant to the job. Again, in CV, I write everything. When it comes to resume, I write only what is relevant to the job, and we are going to focus on that later. Used to apply for academic, scientific research positions, fellowships, and grants. This is the job of the CV, not the resume. Now, there are 2 types of whether resume or CV. 2 types when I write CV or resume the same in this part. But how to put my information? What is the order? Some people prefer to start with the chronological order. I start with actually my education, and then I go to my experience, then my activities, then I put them according to the timing. Latest, then after that I go to the oldest. But I guess the best one is to use the functional one. The functional one actually is more effective than the one that goes by order, the very classic one. If you open any CV, you find the following, starting with the education, then after education I have the experience, then activities, then hobbies, then blah 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 blah. I start with the most functional part I have. I read the advertisement. Remember, the CV is not or the resume or cover letter, they are not something ready for any job to apply with. No, you need to update it. You need to tailor it according to the job you are applying to. Let's say that I am applying for example, oil company. I have to bring up the part that refers to my skills in this and my achievement in this part first, then I go back with the rest of information, because as I mentioned earlier, you have only a chance of 5 seconds in the hand of the employer to decide if you are the right person to have an interview with or not. So you need in the first part of your resume to highlight the most important information about you as an applicant. Now, the chronological one emphasizes work experience, history depending on dates, follows career development. Most prominent skills are not highlighted to a great extent. So this one is for you. I put it in order for myself. But when it comes to applying for a job, it's much better to go to the functional one, that to highlight and to emerge, to make it emerge, the part that you want the employer to know about you. Here are 2 examples. I'm going to send actually the slides after this session to Prepa or Rana, and they will actually forward to you. So don't worry about taking photos of the slides. I'm going to send them out to you. Here is a sample of one of the classic CVs or classic resumes, and another sample for the functional one. Though I disagree with the objective written here and the top, we are going to talk about it later. Type. Now, let's take it step by step. You have a paper in your hand with a pencil, and let's start writing our own CVs, our own resumes now. Our own resume, one by one. On the top first page in the middle, on the top first page in the middle, can you help Prepa with this, please? Whoever needs one. The top part in the middle. We are going to start this way. Are you ready? Now, your first and last name. First and last name. Please do not write like 4 or 5 names together. The employer does not care about, your ancestors. He wants only the first and last name. Okay, so don't write like Ahmad ibn Hamad, Ali, Sayyid. No, I don't need all that. I just need first and last name. Remember, you have only 5 seconds in the hand of the employer to decide if you are going to be shortlisted for an interview or not. Again, street number, city, P.O. box. Do not write your house number. This is not safe. It's not safe to give your full address. محدش يدي عنوانه في الCV. خطر فعلا. It's really dangerous to write because you don't know the company you are applying to. You don't know the people you're dealing with. Specifically, if you are female, you don't have to write your specific address. Only the street number, city, and P.O. box. They are way enough. Okay. Done? لا اصل بيبقى في عناوين كامله جايه لي ورقم الشقه والله I swear I receive sometimes CVs with the apartment number, building number, apartment number, and I don't know why. يعني you're giving this. Are we coming to your home to decide if you're going to work with us or not? No. When you give the street number and city, this is enough for what? To let me know that you are living nearby. That's it. Or you are not far away. If the job opportunity in Dubai, for example, and you're living in Abu Dhabi, so it's not recommended to mention that you're living far away. You can even skip it. Just write, for example, Sharjah, PO Box, enough. Now, are you following? On the top of the page, in the middle, start as follows. First and last name. If you are in America or Canada, you write the last name first, comma, then first. But here it's fine. We start first and second. It's not a big deal, but only 2 names, please. Your cell phone or office phone, office number, do not give your home number. Don't give your home number. Again, this is not safe. Lots of companies, specifically the ones you find online, are not, sometimes they are fake, really. They are not real companies. So do not give your home number. This is not safe. When you give your office number, it gives, like a type of professionalism. It means that, hey, I'm working somewhere and here is my office number. And here is my cell phone if you want to contact me at any time. So I can understand why you give me these 2. But home number, no, there is no justification for giving your home number. Look, in red I write it, don't give home number. طيب, your email address. This is my email address. This is my own email address, Asma Awad. Awad. When you write your email address, it should be clear. Don't write me Lovebird, the Queen of the Middle East. Those emails, Star of the Week. This is not professional and it's not acceptable, and it gives the wrong impression about you as not a mature person. You shouldn't write your email this way, like Lovebirds, Queen of the Day. Okay, yeah, I can see some smiles for people who have these types of emails. No, your email should be professional. At least your name, okay, write it in any way you want, but not something that is vague. Ladybird, or I see lots of emails with this context. It should include at least one of your names, either your first name, last name, to show that it is professional one. Look at this, no dull format, please. Type. One more thing. LinkedIn account. If you do not have an account on LinkedIn, please go home and create it today. You must have an account on LinkedIn. Okay, LinkedIn is something like Facebook, but it's for professional people who are working, who are looking for jobs, and it's a very good search engine to find jobs for you, because once you upload your information on LinkedIn, number 1, it will connect you with people who are working in the same field. This is number 1. Number 2, it will send you every day advertisements for places that you can work in. It automatically helps you to find jobs, and I know lots of grads who found jobs through LinkedIn. Done? So today, please, all of you, if you do not have a LinkedIn account, do it. And it's very professional to show it on the top of your resume. If you have your own website, for people who are good in creating their own websites, please add it. Add your own website if you have one. If you have a blog, add it. If you have a Twitter account, add it, but be careful that your Twitter account does not have your opinions in politics and stuff that are away from professional. If your Twitter account is an account that contains stuff related to your professional career, please add it. If not, no need to add it, okay? So, if you have a blog, add your blog. Is it okay? We are done with the first step, how to write your personal information on the top. Done? Okay. This is the information we write on the top. I don't write my date of birth, place of birth, married or single. We don't need all this information. I don't care about your marital status. I do care about what is beneficial for me as an employer. Let me go a step forward. Done with the first part? Be unique. Yeah, I love this one. Be unique, but I am not unique because I am not, you know, very professional in the high-tech stuff, but I know people in your age can do it. And I know lots of you who can do that. Try to have your own website if you can do so. Try to. I will show you how. Even if you are not good enough in creating your own website, you can go to a website that helps you to create your own website. If you have lots of production, if you have lots of activities, lots of stuff that you want to show, but you don't want to write in your CV in order not to make it a long CV. Here is one of these websites. It's called hoover.com. And at the end of the session, you will find at the end, I put some links for you that show you how the experiences first of people who have their own websites and how they created using hover.com. You can go there, build up your own CV there, a visual one, a video one, any work you do, even in the university. You know, people in engineering, for example, the last year, I think that the last year, the senior year, you're doing your project, right? You can take videos for yourself. Ask somebody to take videos for you working on your project and, you know, upload these videos on your own portfolio to show that you did this work yourself. Okay, use a personalized email through your domain. If you go to hover.com, you can have your own domain. You know, like here in Sharjah University, my email is aawad@sharjah.ac.ae. What's your name? Omar what?
Khalil Abu Asim.
We can have this domain at omarkhalil.com. This is very professional if you can do it, and it's very easy, by the way. I saw lots of videos for people in your age who do that, and they have their own website, they have their own domain. Okay? You can do it through this link. If you want to have your own domain, you get my point, how to have your own domain. Your name, please? Salih Abdullah. Imagine Salih has his own domain, and all of you go to create emails through Salih Abdullah. So my email is aawad@salihabdullah.com. So this gives you weight, you know, that this person is somebody who knows, you know, technology, who knows how to create his own domain, that people use his domain. And instead of having my email as @hotmail.com, @gmail.com, it can be @salihabdullah.com. Avoid the following. No need to write it. You know why? Because number one, from the graduation date, automatically I will know your age. So you don't need to give me extra information in your CV. When you write graduated 2015, automatically I guess your age is around, for example, 25 years old. Something like that, 23. Okay, automatically I will guess the age from the graduation date, from your experience dates. No need at all to write it. No need in the resume. Place of birth. How this will benefit me as an employer if I know that you were born in Al-Gharbiya, Egypt? How it benefits me? Okay, so there is no need to mention where you were born. I do appreciate where you were born and the time you came to this world, but there is no need to mention that. I don't need it. Okay, gender. In America and Canada, by law, you're not allowed to write these things because they consider it discrimination. There, by law, you are not allowed in a CV to write date of birth, place of birth, or gender. Okay? There is no need to write your gender. Nationality. It's not important to write nationality at all. At all. بالعكس, it might reduce your chances for the job. So it's better not to write it. Focus on the qualifications. And it's a waste of time for the employer to go ahead and read these things. Okay. Marital status, single, married, divorced, single mother, single dad, okay? Married with children, wallahi, I always find it, married with children, married and I have 4 kids, married with 5 kids. And I just want to ask those people, is it my problem that you have lots of kids? So he just wants to show that I need the job. So I have 5 kids. You can at least control it and have 2 kids and you will not look for, changing your jobs. So never avoid anything personal. I'm telling you, I can show you lots of CVs in my office that, we can use them as samples of the CVs that you never follow or never write CVs like them. Okay. This is a taboo. Never, ever to mention your religion in a CV. Never to mention your religion in a CV unless they ask you for that. But why offering to mention that I'm a Muslim, Christian? Why? Look at this. In US and Canada, prohibited by law. Yani if you apply and write in your CV these pieces of information, they never consider your CV even if you are the best candidate ever. Now, career objective versus career highlights. Oh my God, I want to show you something going through this quickly. Look at this one. Okay, the last one, then I go back. Okay, example. Can you please take 1 minute to read this example? The example only, read it. I'm sorry. Okay, read it. Can you read it loudly, please? Any of you, read it loudly. Huh.
I am seeking a long-term, challenging career opportunity within a dynamic, reputable organization.
I hate you guys when you write that, wallahi. It's copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste. Okay, and when you meet the guy, you find him totally different from being energetic or dynamic. Okay, so please avoid writing this statement. It's a generic one, it's not yours. You copy and paste from another CV. So why, when you write that, I am a dynamic person who is seeking blah, 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 blah. So it's the same everywhere. If I just copy and paste and go to turn it in, it's plagiarism, honestly. Plagiarism, and it's not true. And even if it is true, you can prove it by highlighting your qualifications. Just highlight your qualifications when you write the resume without copying statements that are nonsense at the end. Specifically, when you look at actually this sentence, I copied from one of the CVs for a fresh grad student. Okay, you don't have even experience. He didn't even read what he actually copied and put in his CV. Now, avoid career objective statement. I know that some schools and some people do like, to mention that I have to write my objective. But khalas, after some time, this objective became something generic and it became like, a habit. Khalas, stop it and start automatically with highlighting your achievements. And I will show you how to do it. Instead of writing that I am this type, I don't care who you are. I do care about your achievements, what you did. Now, avoid these statements. Write what you offer instead of what you need. Avoid generic list of skills, leadership skills, hardworking, good communication skills. I know it's shocking because it's everywhere in all CVs. Okay, but avoid writing them in this way. Just show what you are going to do, or at least you can mention your achievements in doing a specific project when you were an intern, or when you worked as a part-time in the university, or even voluntary work. You can show it this way. Let's go. Okay, write facts and evidences, not your opinion about yourself. And this is my point. Don't write how you see yourself. Please write evidence, things that you already did, so I would believe it. Okay, now, Let's go to this one. Career profile or highlights. You write who you are, what you have accomplished, summary of proficient skills, examples of achievements. And this is the way we are going to write it, this way. I write who I am through this sentence. For example, generating revenue. If you're working in a company and your career is business, for example, you would write the following. I'm currently working in blah, blah, blah company. One of my achievements is that generating revenue or generating money, and you write and explain what you did exactly. Saving costs, and this is very important to show the place you are applying to that you are willing to save their costs. Optimizing the infrastructure and processes to operate more effectively. Okay, so you are using some verbs to tell people what you did, and I will give you a list of these verbs during this session. Okay, right. Bend the truth, be creative, or just remove it. Okay, even if you do not have a specific achievement, don't lie, but bend the truth. What do I mean by bend the truth here? For example, we're working in a project in the university and the teamwork, all of you worked on that project to succeed. Just mention your role in this project. Don't lie, but mention or highlight your role in this project to make the whole project a successful one. Now we're going to go to examples later. Now, we started our CV with the achievement. First of all, we started, with the personal, the information on the top, my name, my address, and my website. And then we go after that to our highlight of achievements. The number 3, we can go to the education. Remember, when you talk about your education, you need to list the universities you went to or the high school. If you are young, you have to mention the date of graduation. And if there is major or minor, mention it only in one case, if it is relevant to the job. If it is not relevant, don't mention minor in this, major and minor in this. No, there is no need. If it is relevant, only mention it. Okay? You have to mention the name of the university and the place of the university. Program, major and minor if relevant to the job. If not relevant, there is no need to mention. Related awards and honors. If you were on the dean's list, if you got an award, if you got a prize, please mention it in this place if it is relevant. If you have high distinction, you got excellent, A grade, mention it. If it is C, don't mention, no need. Study abroad experiences if applicable. If you want, like for a channel like I know through IESTA, you travel somewhere for some time to work and then come back. Mention this experience. Now, after the education, we can go here to work experience. Okay, be very careful when you list your experience. Do not write the job description under the experience. Number 1, we write the date from when to when I worked in this company, the name of the company, and I write like one line about the activity of this company. This company is for what? What does it do? And be careful, because some people, they just copy the job description of his or her job description, they copy and paste. No, I'm not asking you to tell me what are the things that you do. You can twist the job description to be achievements. And I will show you now the vocabulary to be used to do so. Now, list work history in reverse chronologically order, never organized by functions performed across companies. Number 1, we go by date. Latest, then the oldest one. Okay? Then, place company name on left side with one sentence description of company immediately underneath to tell people what is the activity of this company. Indent titles, rules underneath company and description with 1 or 2 sentences to aggravate accomplishments at the position. You give your title in this place and a few sentences to tell your achievements, not job description. Detail accomplishments and responsibilities within each position. Again, your responsibilities and accomplishments. Please do not mention what is the generic, paper that you receive when you work. Here is your job description. Don't copy and paste. Just mention exactly what you did and your achievements accordingly. Again, employers think in terms of time and chronology. They want to see career progression within and across companies. This is very important. When you write, for example, from 2018 to 19, I worked in this company and here is my achievement. Then from 2017 to 2018, here is my accomplishment. I need as an employer to see progression, how you progressed through companies, not doing the same work here and there. Even if you do the same, be careful to bend the truth. Just add some, aggravating vocabulary to show that you did something. Use action-oriented verbs. Here are the verbs that you are expected to use when you write your CV and you show your achievements. When you write about your achievements, please stick to this list of vocabulary. I will give you right now a sample of a CV following these rules. Okay. Let's have a look at this CV and I will show you the guy who wrote the CV later. He's very professional in this field. Look at this. His name is Thomas Frank. He wrote here, by the way, the number is not real because it's just a sample. Here is his telephone number, email, and his website. That's what we have just mentioned. Look at the education, how he wrote it. Look at the order of writing the information. I guess you need to take a copy. Here is a copy of his CV. This is a copy of his CV, of his resume, 2 pages only. Look at the order, look at the vocabulary he used, look at his achievements. You can do it this way, take one and pass the rest. تفضل. You can pass it on.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
Can we switch the university name with what my major? Can I start with
It's fine. It's flexible. It's not the Holy Quran. Everything is flexible. You can go the way you like. That's why I told you what I prefer the functional one. The functional resume is the one that gives you freedom to highlight what you want to highlight. I want to highlight my major, my minor. I want to highlight my grade based on the advertisement. Remember the video CV we saw at the beginning? Why all of you were attracted to Ben, not to Thomas? Because Ben responded to every single thing in the advertisement, and at the same time he gave documentation. Okay, yes, please, your question? Question? Okay. Yeah, you can mention that, you know, there is an expression that you're going to use that to show that you are not graduated yet. Currently, for example, you can start with currently. Okay, let me continue. But look how short the CV is, how intense it is. When you go home, please read it word by word. And I will give you the name of the channel for this gentleman to follow. His career is how to help people writing their CVs and cover letter and resumes. He's very professional and he's very up to date. Let's go now. Look here, for example, he mentioned his GPA. He can tell that his GPA is very high. So he mentioned that. But if your GPA is 2.5, don't mention that. Okay? You highlight what you feel is relevant to the job. Now, let's continue. Here is the list you have just received that we call action-oriented verbs. Action-oriented verb is the verbs that we use when we write our CVs to highlight our achievement and to show that we are very professional in writing. Stop being, a bit personal. I did this, no. We don't use these expressions, We might use it in the cover letter, but in my CV, avoid using the word I. You start by I accommodated, without I, accommodated, accomplished, assigned. Okay. You take your time when you go home to read the CV. Yes, this is very important. Do not forget in your resume to add the extracurricular activities. Do you know the extracurricular activities? الأنشطة اللا صفية. What you did outside the university or inside the university but apart from education. Yani your job in the university is not just to come to take classes and leave. There are lots of activities and voluntary work that people do in the university. Do not ignore it because it shows part of your personality. For example, instead of going and say in your resume, as I always see, I am an easygoing person, I am sociable. People do that in the resume. They write, I am sociable, I'm easygoing, I like teamwork, I am... no need to write that. But what you can do is to give me a proof. For example, I am a member in the... I am scout in the university, right? I am a member in the football team. I am, for example, any of the activities. I am a member of the basketball team, volleyball team. I got the first place in swimming. By writing these evidences, you show that you are a teamwork player. You show that you are easygoing, that you are flexible. You tell all these pieces of information, but through facts, not just generic expression. Type. Voluntary work, please. If you do voluntary work, add it. It's very important to show a part of your personality. Do not ignore it. Identify any relevant participation activities and experience. Training, if you did any training, a workshop like this one, please add it to your resume that I attended a workshop for how to write my resume and my cover letter and interview skills. For example, these things do not ignore specifically at this age or because you are still young and you need to show the employer that you are working on your career and you are working on improving yourself professionally. Honors and awards. If you got an honor or award from anywhere and preferably to be relevant to the job, you can write it, but a bit down. The first half part of the page should be relevant to the job itself. Type. Others, anything you feel is relevant to the job, please go ahead and add it. Relevant, again. Hi, this one, references at the end. Here is the last part of the CV. Please don't write furnished upon request. This sentence actually provokes the employer. Don't come at the end and write references furnished upon request. Don't write them. Don't try. Just avoid it if you don't have a reference. Okay. Number one, you no need to write a reference. This is number one. No need to write any references because if I am interested in you as a candidate, automatically I will ask you for references later. If I am interested or I shortlist you, you are going to be my candidate. You are going to be shortlisted. I will ask you to send me 2 letters from the references. This is number one. If you insist on writing references, give 2 names with their professional emails and telephone number, contact number. It can be office or mobile, but be careful. You need to ask them first. For example, and it happens a lot, I receive many phone calls from people asking about someone whom I taught 10 years ago. I can't remember the name of the student. I can't remember even his major. I can't remember who's that guy. And then I find a company asking me or sending me an email. Please send us a reference letter about this person. Before you add my name to be your reference, you must tell me first. You must tell me that you are adding my name in order to be well prepared. This is number one. Number two, make sure of your reference. For example, if you are a naughty student who's bothering your teacher for over 4 years, don't add his name as your reference. Okay? try not to add his name as your because he will not lie. He will tell the truth about you as a student. Okay, preferably when you choose two references. One of them can be your ex-employer if you were working before, your head of department, for example, and one of your teachers in the university that you have good relationship with, and tell him before you add his name, or remove the reference part if you are not willing to provide it. It's not a big deal, but avoid this, please. Look at this one. Don't write this sentence. It's common. Do not write it because it's just a waste of space. يعني as if you are really provoking the employer when you tell him هبعت لك الريفرنس لما تشغلني. Exactly. يعني انت بتقول له كده بالظبط. When you tell him furnished upon request كأنك بتقول للي هيشغلك لما توافق عليا ابقى ابعت لك. This is not right. Okay? طيب. Style and appearance. This is very formal, but I think you're aware of which font we use when we write. 12 font size is okay. Roman, New Roman, Times New Roman, or Arial is okay when you write the CV. You can use 10 to 11 as well if the 2 pages are not enough, because we want to stick to 2 pages. So in this case, use 10, 11, or 12 based on the information you add. Use normal and special print, bolding, italics, underlining. If you want to highlight something, you can use bolding or underlining when you write the CV. Use bullet points with action-oriented verbs. The list of verbs I gave you, if you're going to use it, better to give like bullet points to attract the attention of the employer to the important pieces of information you have. Be clear, consistent, and concise. Be clear, consistent. Let's focus on consistent. ما تجيش في الأول تكتب لي, for example, at the beginning you write 3 years experience in blah blah company, and then at the end, during my 2 years work in this company, you are lying. Be consistent. خليك متسق مع نفسك في المعلومات اللي بتحطها. ما تحطش معلومة وتيجي تناقض نفسك بعد كده. You have to be very consistent when you write. طيب. And concise. Very short. يعني ما تطولش. بلاش رغي. بلاش details. لخص. طيب. Your content should revolve around the things that are most relevant to the job. Again and again and again. I'm highlighting this point. Okay, now let's go now to top 12 resume mistakes that we need to avoid. أكتر 12 غلطة عايزين نتجنبهم واحنا بنكتب السيرة الذاتية. رقم 1. Number 1. Listing job duties instead of job accomplishments. دي اللي لسه قايلينها. Don't mention that my job is to do this and this and this and this and this. No, you mention that I accomplished 1, 2, 3, 4. Here is the difference. It shows how hardworking you are. Spelling errors and poor grammar. Even if you are an English language teacher, send your CV to a proofreader to read it for you. 2 eyes are better than 1 eye. When you have more than 1 person to look at your resume before applying, this is perfect, because sometimes you have, these pitfalls here and there, but you need somebody to look at your CV after you finish or your resume. Ignoring job relevance. This is very important. Very important. Sometimes when we write our CVs, I want to show what I did. I want to show my achievements. طيب, I want your achievement to be relevant to the job you're applying to. Anything which is not relevant, just put it aside. I don't need it. Ignoring unpaid experience. Some people think that voluntary work, why should I write my voluntary work? No, write it. Write it down. Unpaid jobs, unpaid internship, write it down. Write anything down since it's relevant to the job you are applying to. Failing to tailor your resume using the same resumes for all job ads is lazy. Wallahi, it's lazy. Like when you have, you print out like 50 copies of your resume and go to apply for a job, or send the same copy. No, every time you have to revisit your resume and adapt it to the new job. because we mentioned that we are focusing on functional resume. You're not writing your resume for yourself, to remind yourself with your achievements. No. Every time I have to tailor it. لازم أضبط السي في لكل وظيفة بقدمها. كل وظيفة بقدمها بشوف الإعلان وبفصص السي في according للإعلان اللي جاي. إنما نفس الاسطمبة, this is really lazy and it gives the wrong impression. طيب. Sending your resume as a Word document. This is a big mistake, by the way. When you send your resume somewhere, it should be a PDF file. It must be a PDF file. You don't know who is receiving it. You don't know what he is going to do with this one before sending it to the big boss, because you have procedures and you don't know what type of company you are applying to. Maybe when you apply, for example, somebody in the human resources, for example, in that company, he wants his relevant to take this job. So he might play around with your CV, for example, because he has a very short time, okay, before he actually submit the CV somewhere. This is one of the possibilities. I know it's far away, but you need to be careful when you send your CV. It must be a PDF file, not Word document. Don't give any chance to anybody to play around with your resume. Type. And one more thing, when you send it as a PDF file, it looks very professional, by the way. Type. Writing curriculum vitae at the top. Yes, I need to know why some people, they write on the top curriculum vitae as if they are showing me that I know CV is abbreviation for this Latin word. Don't write it. Don't write this word at all. Don't try. I know this is resume. I know this is curriculum vitae. Since you give me your name, your address, your education, your stuff, I know. No need to mention. This is waste of time for you and for the employer. Type. This is good. When you apply for a job, you are not the one and only one. So to write at the PDF file, my CV, who are you? You must write your name. When you send your resume somewhere, to any company, they receive hundreds of CVs. You must write your name to identify who are you. For example, Omar Muhammad CV, Omar Muhammad resume. Now I know this PDF file is for who. Okay? Tailor it, play around it to show that you're doing. For example, I won the first place in the marathon, for example. Something to show that you can give the same piece of information but in a more clever way. Show all your hobbies. Don't show all your hobbies. Show only the hobbies that are relevant to the job or tell a part about your personality. Okay. Being negative. Being negative. Yes, this is very important. Again, to the video we watched at the beginning, Ben and Thomas. Why we all liked Ben? He was so enthusiastic, very happy with what he's doing. When you put that in writing, be very careful when you use your verbs. Don't use a verb that shows that you are not happy with doing something. Don't mention for the job responsibility, for example, although it was hard to do this, but I did it. No, don't show the negative part at all. Be always positive when you write. This is the same sample resume, and I just would like you to follow this channel for this gentleman. I will not play the whole video, but I want you really to listen to him when you have time at home. I am follower to this channel, and this guy
There's
is...
no such thing as a perfect writer. This is why I use Grammarly to check my work.
If I'm putting...
You can
Let's
use...
talk about resumes.
Okay.
At some point in your life, probably sooner than you think, you're going to have to write one of these things. And whether you're applying for...
By the way, the CV I gave you is for this gentleman, okay? It's his CV, yeah. His name is Thomas Frank. It's written on the top of the CV. And the CV you received is just a sample CV. He didn't write his real phone number, but he gave his website. In the CV itself, you'll find his website and how to contact him. And I added the link to the presentation so you can go to his channel and follow him. He's so good in giving pieces of advice to how to apply for a job, how to do well in the interview, how to write your CV, resume, and cover letter. He's one of the best actually online. Yani. Okay, cancel. Okay, where I'm going, let me go back here. And here is another one who is very professional as well, but I like Thomas Frank better. Thomas Frank is so good in this part. Okay, you can go to this whenever you have time at home before you go ahead and write your own resume. Type cover letter. Now we're done. Yes.
I have a question again.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Regarding the volunteer work or the unpaid work, do I mention it under the experience, work experience?
It can be
or-
at this age. It can be under the experience. It can be under it can be under training. It can have. You can give it a different title. Voluntary work. It's fine. Again, when I say functional resume, it means that you can play around with it. You are the one who specifies your priorities when you write. I can tell that the advertisement needs this, so I go around and tailor it according. It doesn't have a specific layout. You can do it when you go home. Look at the visual CVs I added, the video one. Look, each one is unique in his way when he applies. It's very important nowadays at your age to be really unique when you apply to a job, because lots of people are graduating and chances are going lower. So you need to be different when you apply. Okay? Again, it's not a holy Quran, so you can play around with the CV in the way you like. Yes?
One more question. You mentioned the visual CV. Do you recommend this or the classic one?
It depends on the place you apply to. It depends. Look at the place. For example, I want you please to go online and to YouTube and watch lots of unique CVs in ways that you will never imagine. That they do it as, PowerPoint, because you send it by email. So now you can do whatever you want. It can be video, it can be visual. You can send it in different ways. It's up to you. Just think, you are still young. You can create your own format for a CV. It is not something that's a form that we need to follow. The classic one, I just advise with the classic one when it comes to academic ranking or research, because they have their own criteria. This is different. It depends on where, and when you apply, for example, to Google company, they appreciate the way that you are unique. Go online for a specific guy, I can't remember his name. He made a video on YouTube and he ended that video by one sentence: "Hey Google, you will be lucky to hire me." After he showed his videos, his work, he was so funny. And I actually on purpose did not bring it here because it has something which is appropriate to our culture. And they appointed him. He was amazing. Okay? Just you need to discover new ways to apply for jobs. Type. Let me go for cover letter quickly, because people, I know you have classes. Cover letter. Don't ever send your CV as an attachment to an employer without writing something in an email. People do it a lot. I find an email from unknown person sending me his or her CV with a blank email writing "see attached." Excuse me? Wallahi al-Azim, they do it. They are even lazy to write a cover letter. When you send a CV somewhere, write a proper cover letter. What's the difference between a cover letter and the resume or CV itself? The cover letter is something very short that highlights the main points in the CV or resume in a specific way. Okay, we can look at it quickly. It responds to a known job opening specific to the position advertised, not one size fits all. Again, مش copy and paste نفس cover letter I'm going to send everywhere. It should be tailored according to the job itself. Let's have a look here. Explains your interest in the organization and in the job you are applying for. Yani number one, I am writing this email to apply for your job advertised in Gulf newspaper dated kaza. You start, this is the start. You need to mention where you found the advertisement that you are responding to. Now, okay, explains how your skills relate to the criteria listed in the job posting. It's very important. It's summarized, very short. You write how you found the advertisement and why you apply, your qualifications, how your experience is relevant, full stop. That's it. Look at this. Start your cover letter at the top with the same, with the same heading I wrote on my CV, the same one. Copy and paste. Take it and write it as a heading on the top in order to put them together, to connect them together. This is number one. Then afterwards, you go, the format itself, how we write it. Your cover letter includes 3 basic paragraphs. It can be 4 paragraphs, no problem, but the minimum is 3 basic, not block. I don't want to see 1 paragraph together. No, you need to separate it. The first short paragraph, like 2 lines, how you know about this job, how do you know about it? Second paragraph shows your qualification and your experience. Then the last one, your skills if relevant. Why are you writing to them and who are you? You need to mention the first paragraph. Second one, why are you the most suitable candidate for the organization and the position advertised? لازم تقول له انت ليه شايف نفسك افضل واحد للوظيفة دي. You need to mention that and be concise as well. How you will follow up with them. How you will follow up. ازاي هتتواصلوا بعد كده. So you can write at the end that, you know, looking forward for an interview with you, and mention your mobile number and, you know, how you are welcoming an interview, or you are willing to meet them, you know, at their convenience. You need to mention that. طيب, mistakes. What not to write in a cover letter. What to avoid writing in a cover letter, and this is very important. Avoid such phrases as I feel, I believe. This is unprofessional. Unprofessional to write it in a cover letter. Okay, use a stronger qualifier such as I am confident or I am positive. يعني بدل ما نقول I believe, I feel, better to say I am confident, I'm positive. For example, number 1, I believe my background provides me with unique qualifications. This is very weak sentence. It can be strong if we say my background provides me with unique qualifications.